President Ramaphosa is the worst president we've ever had at the worst possible time. Those who voted for the ANC have put us through hell. This shocking response comes after Ramaphosa responded to the nation in regard to Mkhawanazi's allegation. And his response was so disappointing that he had to put the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, on special leave with a paid salary. That's how disappointing the response from Ramaphosa was. Now, almost all the political parties were blaming and responded to Ramaphosa. I'm gonna start off with Maimane and his political party, Bossa. You guys won't believe, Guti, Maimane has been so active in response to Ramaphosa. This is what he said.
South Africa faces its gravest moment when it comes to the rule of law. The South African police are at the forefront of this fight, and it is important that they be given the best leadership and the best opportunity to fight crime. The allegations by General Mkhwanazi are profound and significant. I thought the President's response tonight could have done a lot more than what it did do. All of us have heard of many commissions of inquiry, Zondo Commission, the Marikana Commission, all of the implementations, if not many of them, who have been brought from these commissions of inquiry have not been fully implemented. And what eventually happens is that hundreds of millions of rands are spent on commissions of inquiries and criminal prosecutions that have to make sure political leadership is held accountable often does not materialize. Therefore, I strongly believe the President should have instituted immediately a special investigation unit proclamation that ensures that criminal prosecutions take place parallel to the process. This would ensure that ultimately those who are involved or face allegations, whether be in the judiciary, the correctional services, any other officials, can immediately and soon enough have their day in court, so either they clear their name or they are locked up behind bars. Secondly, I think the President should have fired Minister Mchunu. Really, South Africa cannot afford to have two police commissioners, one on special suspension or two police ministers, and the other in an acting position. Therefore, I do believe if there were serious enough allegations for Minister Mchunu to say himself he wants to be on special leave, then he should have been fired. He would go back to being an ordinary member of parliament. Already his testimony on many issues, be it whether or not the statements he's made in parliament, have already been seen to be challenged. Therefore, he should be an ordinary member of parliament. He can avail himself to come to the parliamentary inquiry so that we can get to the bottom of this. What the police need now, more than ever, is not another spectacle of a commission or a person who they feel they can't take authority from. They need a strong leader, someone who will come into the police and begin to direct the efforts. If the rot is what is being alleged to be, then action needs to go deliberately and almost immediately. And therefore, I would urge that rather than us having an extended period of Mr. Kachalia acting for a long period of time, that the sooner we find the best leadership in the police, stabilize the force, so that the ultimate job of the police, which is to fight crime, is prioritized. That's what we need to do. So more must be done, and I will be looking at what Parliament does, what the Public Protector does, and ultimately we need to move fast.
Now, Maimane was boldly responding to Ramaphosa actively and went further by saying, this was not enough. We have had enough commissions of inquiry. We are still seeing famous names from the Zondo Commission gallivanting in places of influence and prominence. Some still doing business with the state. We needed to give the police more ammunition to deal with the issues of the syndicates destroying South Africa with drugs and guns. Bring back the scorpions. I believe that Senzo Mchunu should have been fired and other ministers who lied to the parliament. This was missed opportunity in that respect. Last tweet from Maimane, media statement. President Ramaphosa must establish a special investigation unit probe with a full mandate to pursue all implicated individuals. Number 2, all officials against whom there is prima facie evidence should be suspended immediately. No expectations. Wow. I'm glad that Maimane highlighted the most important points. He was highlighting the old inquiries and he asked, what have they done before? Commission of inquiries are just waste of time. We've seen it before. Marikana Commission, Zondo Commission. They were all about the state capture, guys. even this one. Why Ramaphosa always start commissions, and now he has just given us a new minister who we don't know is not even a member of parliament. So South Africans were rejecting the new minister and the new commission. So it's better off to have a special investigation unit than a commission of inquiry. He hasn't really commented much on Mkhwanazi. Ramaphosa didn't comment much on Mkhwanazi, and we were all expecting what will happen to General Mkhwanazi. So Ramaphosa is really disappointing. On the next one, let's see what John Steenhuisen said, and then we'll jump on to EFF, NDLOZI, CHIRWA and others.
Well, I think we're all expecting a little bit more than what we got this evening, but nevertheless, certainly welcoming the removal and suspension of Minister Mchunu pending the outcome of this particular investigation, a new appointment into cabinet in the form of Feroz Kachalia, and these are certainly quite significant moves. However, I think many South Africans are very skeptical about the efficacy of commissions of inquiry after having just lived through a very long and expensive Zondo Commission of Inquiry where many people were named, much evidence led, but we're yet to see a single high-profile conviction or consequence for anybody arising from that Zondo Commission report. I think that the clear line here is that commissions are only as good as their consequences. And if we're going to have another commission of inquiry in South Africa where there are no consequences, I think it's going to disappoint those in the country who are desperately waiting for a hard line against corruption and to see those responsible for criminal activity and corruption to be behind bars where they belong, not sitting around a cabinet table, not sitting in the upper echelons of police management or in parastatals.
Yeah. John, of course, one of the things that there is the expectation, there was the expectation of is what happens within the SAPS, what the president wants to see within the SAPS, Ndandla Mkhwanazi, what should happen with him. The Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya, what do you foresee there? Is it possible that the announcement that we heard from the president this evening, allowing for, as we heard our analyst saying earlier, the SAPS now to self-mitigate?
Well, I think that it would be very odd if action was taken against Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, given the fact that he has come out with these allegations. I've known Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi for many years. He's a serious police officer, and I really would be very surprised that he would make such far-reaching allegations unless he had the evidence to back them up. He is now going to be required to lead that evidence in this Commission of Inquiry and, of course, in Parliament, where we have parliamentary committees that are now authorised to probe this matter. And I think we mustn't stop those inquiries because there now happens to be a judicial inquiry. Parliament has a job to do, and it must get on and do that job. But it's now going to be up to the accused to refute the evidence, and it's going to be up to the accusers to put the evidence on the table. And I think that that is certainly a welcome outcome of this evening. But as I said, once the evidence is led, once the allegations are either proved or refuted, there must be consequences. People must go to jail. People must be criminally charged. People must feel the might of the law, because South Africans are desperately waiting to see the strong, decisive action beyond just talk against those who are responsible for crime and corruption in the country.
Quick one, John.
It is Ramaphosa's constitutional right not to consult with the GNU before making decision in regard to ANC ministers. So John Steenhuisen doesn't agree with majority of things that Ramaphosa also said, although I was disappointed that John Steenhuisen said that Ramaphosa took the right decision by suspending this guy, Senzo Mchunu, instead of firing him. So many people are still confused on Mkhwanazi's allegation. Even John Steenhuisen, no one wants Ramaphosa to interfere in General Mkhwanazi's investigation in regards to this matter of Senzo Mchunu, and Ramaphosa has already interfered. And this will obviously disappear like any other cases that we have had before in front of the whole country. So We've already seen Guti, this case is not going anywhere. Ramaphosa is really backing Senzo Mchunu behind closed doors. On the next one, we're going to look at the summary of the EFF's significant response after Ramaphosa disappointed the whole nation. Interesting legal point raised by the EFF. We additionally reject the legally and constitutionally baseless decision by the President to appoint an acting Minister of Police who is not current member of Cabinet. This is a direct violation of Section 98 of the Constitution, which states the President may assign to a minister any power or function of another minister who is absent or otherwise unable to fulfill the functions of office. It is clear from the provision that only a sitting minister may be assigned the functions of another. The Constitution makes no room for the appointment of an acting minister from outside the cabinet. So, this statement from the EFF proves that Ramaphosa is violating the Constitution with intentions. Why would he bring someone who is not even a member of parliament? First off, he cannot appoint someone outside a minister. Worst part, he takes someone who is not even a member of parliament. And who is this Firoz Kachalia, the incoming acting police minister? Kachalia, 66, is a former anti-apartheid activist, lawyer, academia, and long-time public servant. He is currently a professor at the Wits School of Law and chairs the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council, a body tasked with helping the state prevent the kind of systematic grant exposed during the Zondo Commission. Born in Benoni, 1958, Kachala was active in anti-apartheid student politics in the late 1970s and 80s. So you guys see that Ramaphosa made a decision to benefit his own. He appointed someone that he knows that will report to him and do as he please. Wow, this president is really unpredictable, guys. The worst president we ever had in this country. Now, Sinau Tampo said, we took a moment to outline the EFF's logical concern with government that establishes commission of inquiry, presidential invoice and task teams but ignores the recommendation of such. No one can blame whistleblower for choosing their life and silence over death and paid leave and inquiries for the corrupt. So these decisions from the president, guys, will not be accepted anywhere, even in parliament, because these political parties are surprised that he starts another commission of inquiry, whereas the previous commission of inquiries never worked. So why does he have this much confidence of another commission of inquiry when the old commission of inquiries were nothing but disasters? So this shows Kuti Ramaphosa is trying to benefit himself in this whole situation. On the next one, Comrade NDLOZI response to this whole situation from Ramaphosa disappointed everyone. He said he has acted decisively. Go argue with the wall. National Police Commissioner, please suspend Sibiya with immediate effect, or else he will undermine this commission. Return the all dockets of the political task team unit and let them make their arrest. Danko. So this after Ramaphosa addressed the nation. So NDLOZI said he acted decisively. So people were like, what is wrong with NDLOZI? He is now transitioning to someone who's gonna be hated. Naledi CHIRWA responded and said, no, we won't argue with the wall. We will argue with you. Mchunu lied in parliament. He is guilty of lying and proving that won't require a commission of inquiry that might cost us over R1 billion. The evidence is there for everyone to see. You understood the gravitas of this when Zuma lied about financing Kandla through the bond. Do you remember the words constitutional delinquent? Yes, that is where Senzo is standing right now. NDLOZI is really transitioning into someone that we don't understand lately. The way that he defends Ramaphosa, you see that this guy is now censored. He is no longer the same NDLOZI we know from the EFF. He has completely changed. He wants to go to the ANC, and this statement shows Guti he's trying to impress Ramaphosa so he can be a member of parliament from the ANC. Wow, this guy ulambile, guys. NDLOZI, you are hungry, my brother. On the next one, Maimane Africa from FLOYD responded and said, Maimane demands the immediate removal of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu from his position and the immediate suspension of Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, pending a thorough and transparent criminal investigation. These allegations with These allegations will implicate senior law enforcement officials in protecting criminal networks and undermining investigations into politically motivated killings. Are too severe to be addressed through commission that may take months or years to produce findings that historically are often ignored or acted upon. So Floyd Maimane wants to be everywhere. They want to comment on the trending topics so that people see Maimane Africa defends the constitution. Nah, it's not like that, guys. This is clear. Everyone saw Guti Ramaphosa was wrong and should have, dealt with this matter immediately if he was not implicated. He should have made sure Guti they don't waste government resources which might take years. We all know that hundreds of millions of rands will be spent in this commission. We all know that. So Ramaphosa is really fooling us, and people are not gullible to that extent. They know what he's about to do. Someone said Mkhwanazi must investigate this chap Firoz Kachalia before he takes office. He is an ANC veteran. No ANC member is clean. And the last one, Mkhonto weSizwe Party also released a statement, said Mkhonto weSizwe Party statement dismissing and rejecting the illegitimate and unconstitutional announcement by Cyril Ramaphosa. I won't dive into that one. Go and check it out. I have said enough because almost all these political parties responded with valid responses into Ramaphosa. Someone said State Capture Commission results dololo. Life Esimdeni Commission results dololo, Zondo Commission results dololo, Marikana Commission results dololo, Pala dollars results dololo. The mafias have won. The only solution is the streets. The system have failed us. Wow, Ramaphosa has really spoiled these Mkhwanazi allegations. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, notification bell. I'm about to share more interesting stories regarding these topics.